Well, in a stunning reversal, Donald Trump is now calling on his fellow Republicans to support the release of the Epstein files. Our American in Oz, Sara James, joins us to unpack all of this. We're just talking about the twists and turns in Victorian politics, but yes. Donald Trump's done a bit of an about-face now here, a massive one.
Yes, he has, and I think this is a situation where it comes down to the votes. So the Congress has been looking at this matter as to whether or not they were going to release the Epstein files. Now, this is there was a new tranche of files that came actually from the Epstein estate, and then there's also the files that the Justice Department has that relate to the FBI. So what's going to happen with them? There was a move by some members of Congress to get signatures on a petition to force a vote. They had 217. They needed 218, and the Speaker of the House kept one Democratic member who had been newly sworn in. He kept her from being sworn in for 7 weeks. Once she was about to be sworn in, they had the votes, and that's when we saw this about face, because Trump knew that it was going to happen, and so he got out ahead of it.
I hate to use this term because I feel like it's been used before and proven wrong, but is this a sign of a post-Trump MAGA movement? Because he does not have control of this situation in the way that he has been able to reassert control again and again in the past. And some people in the MAGA movement have said, well, he's only got 3 years left. We need to plan for the future, and this is a huge issue for us.
Well, maybe what we say is rather than PT, post-Trump, it's TT, Trump transition, right? And the reason for that, although some people would say TT is Trump train. But anyway, the train has some of the carriages that are breaking off. And the biggest carriage that's had a split with the president is Marjorie Taylor Greene, who he just started calling Marjorie Traitor Greene, and she is a representative from Georgia. She had been one of the most stalwart allies, but she has been rock solid on saying that we need to hear from these women and that needs to happen. And so there's been a real split, and it has to do with obviously the Epstein files, but much more than that. But before we leave the Epstein files, just to give an idea of how big a rift this has really created, what a lot of people are also saying is don't forget the victims. And there's been a public service announcement. I just wanted to play a few seconds of that for us to have a listen.
Years old. I was 16 years old.
I was 16.
17.
14 years old.
This is me.
This was me.
This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
Wow, that's devastating, isn't it?
It is. And I think the reason that I'm giving our audience an opportunity to see that is it is this kind of pressure that's all over the airwaves in the United States. It's blanketing the airwaves. The president just came out again and said this is Democratic hoax. Well, the reality is these women are saying it's not political. Release the files. Let's know what happened. And that pressure is building. But to your point, James, it's absolutely spreading beyond this. There are disagreements about a lot of things within the Republican Party, and that incredibly cohesive core, it always starts to fracture no matter how powerful the president. We haven't seen one this powerful in a long time. When people start to go, 2028 is just around the corner, and the president is barred by the Constitution from another term. So who's going to run in 28? People are starting to put their hats into the ring.
Could Mr. Trump make a decision to release the files without having to just instruct Republicans, oh, you vote to release the files?
Yeah.
Is that a decision he could make?
Well, it really will come to Congress. But yeah, of course he can, but it is going to be, Congress is going to have a vote. And here's the key thing. It wasn't just 218 that they had to get around that. They had other Republicans who were saying, we're going to sign on too. The big question is, that's the House. What about the Senate? Not clear yet, but you can start to feel in politics, you can start to feel the force of the swell of the water and then the dam breaking. And it does feel like we're at that moment where there's no way to prevent them from releasing this information. And really then I think it's a question of exactly who is affected. And let us be clear, there are a lot of people, the president has said, look, President Clinton, former President Clinton, what about him? I mean, you're going to hear a lot of this because this is not a one person, Epstein, anybody who kind of was in touch with him. They will be having people ask them questions, and that will unfold in time.
There's been a lot of speculation about who are some of the people named in this book that was written by the late Virginia Giuffre as well. So, yes, certainly a lot more to come. Fascinating to see this play out politically, though, in Congress in the way it is.
Yes, indeed. And we'll see more in just a matter of hours when that vote comes to the floor.
Sara, thanks so much. See you
Pleasure.
soon.